Hey everybody, it's Chris Gilmore here from Changing World Project, and today I'm at the Royal Winter Fair in Toronto. This is a fun event that I come to every year with my wife. And what I want to do today is create a new video that's part of a series that we're doing on situational awareness and how to keep yourself safe, so safety. We're going to address crowds specifically today. 5 simple things that you can think about when you're in large crowds to significantly increase your ability to deal with the situation if it comes up. If you think this is a tad paranoid, the chances of something actually happening, like a massive fire or a black outage or, an active shooter, it is pretty low. I definitely agree with that. Hopefully you'll never have to deal with something like this. But those incidents do happen, every single day around the world. And even in North America, you get many of those every single month that happen somewhere. And I bet you the people that find themselves in that stampede trying to exit the fire, especially if you're one of the ones that gets plowed over and crushed, would have wished that they just took a little bit of extra time to give a little bit of forethought to what you do in these potentially dangerous situations. So let's get into the 5 things here. The first thing we're going to talk about is knowing what our hazards are to begin with. So what are some potential things that you might want to think about in a large event like this? One of the big ones that comes to mind for me are fires. And particularly if there is a large fire, the real scary part, on top of smoke and potential injuries from fire, is actually how the crowd behaves to the fire itself. So we're going to come back to that one in a few minutes. Another thing that we might want to think about here is violence. So whether that's an active shooter or maybe that's just, a fight breaks out. Maybe a couple of people, if there's a beer tent at the event and a bunch of people get rowdy and a fight goes on and you're an innocent bystander that gets stuck in the middle of something that you don't want to be in. We have natural and man-made disasters that can occur. So maybe there's a blackout, maybe there's an earthquake while you're inside of an event with lots of other people. Another one I think about is first aid incidents happen all the time. So maybe it's not even you or your family, but you're walking down and or walking through the lane and all of a sudden you see someone that has a heart attack. Do you know where the AED machine is? Do you know where the first aid station is at the event? Those are little things that make a big difference that a lot of people don't think about all the time. Another one, we're just heading into cold and flu season. Those diseases, bacteria, spread really easily in crowds. So those are some of the potential hazards that we might have to deal with. Let's get into our actual plan and our strategy now. So now we know what some of the potential hazards are. Let's chat about our first step in the actual strategy beyond just awareness. So the first thing we want to do, I come into an event like this, I want to go and check out the map. And I want to know more than just, where is the place that I want to eat dinner or where's the show I want to see. So just take an extra couple of seconds to be a little bit strategic and think, okay, I just came in through the main entrance right here. So what are some things that'd be useful for me to know right now? One thing I think about is where are the first aid stations? So I see a red X over here and I see a red X over there, and now I can just kind of take a look around the greater area and align myself up. So cool, I know where the first aid stations are. As I'm walking through, I'm going to keep a lookout for AED stations too. This isn't something that needs to take a lot of effort. I'm still having a conversation, having fun, eating whatever I'm doing, but I'm just keeping an eye out for things like security stations, even where security guards are stationed in case their problem comes up. Where's the AED machine if someone has a heart attack? Another thing, and this is probably the most important one I want to get you out of this piece, is to know where multiple exits are. So I look in here, here's the main entrance here, and I see another main entrance here. But there's probably exits all over the place. I see a lobby over there. Looks like there's a door. I think I see another door over there. There's lots of different places that you can get out of this building. I've read a lot of case studies about people that have gotten trampled in public events when there's a fire, when there's a shooting, when there's even the power outage, and people just panic. And one thing that's kind of wild is that people, I forget what the exact stat is, but I want to say 80% of the time, people tend to want to go out the same door they came into, even if there's another exit closer. So we talked about step 1, which is knowing what some of the hazards are. Step 2 was doing our mental map of the actual area, maybe even grabbing a physical map and having it in our property. And as we're moving through the building, just paying attention to where things are. And step number 3, for this one, we're actually going to talk about what to do in a dangerous crowd situation. So we've got tons of people here. And like I mentioned when we were looking at the map there, if we had a mass exodus happen all of a sudden, there's a good chance people are going to go out the same door that they came in. So looking out over this area here and catching where is the general flow of traffic, where are those corridors that pinch, and where are those areas that are wide. Very few people actually pay attention to where all the little small exits are when they're moving through an event. So if you map all the tiny little exits on that map, and just as you're walking around, you notice that, okay, there's another exit in that back corner over there. You can see exit over there. I see another exit over here. I see another one over there. but the two main exits are both up that way. There's probably a good chance that if a major event happened right now, a lot of these people would flock this way. To even come to a strategic spot like this, just for a second, to pop up here and take a quick skim of the crowd before even panicking and running, and just looking to see where are all the people moving. If everybody's running that way, then maybe I can run across the bleachers and find a better route out to one of those exits that no one is going. You don't want to get stuck in the pinch point with a mass number of people going through. That's a really dangerous situation to end up in.
So another good area to map would be something like this, on between the lower basement and the parking garage and the main event floor, and I'm encased in concrete on all sides. What I like about this is there's really good structural integrity. So thinking about natural disasters such as a tornado, an earthquake, to know where this spot is, to know that I'm encased in a safe concrete spot if there's a big incident going on outside. The other one is if I'm able to isolate and lock the doors on different sides of me, maybe I've got some ropes that I can tie doors closed with, and there's an active shooter in the building, I know that those bullets aren't going through concrete. And a third one, this is maybe a little bit extreme, but there's 2 nuclear power plants in close distance to where I am, Ajax and Pickering. If there was an explosion at one of those nuclear facilities, then really, really quickly you need to get away from any exterior walls, anywhere where there's airflow. And coming down to a spot like this would be a good first step. Now, what you do from there, that's a whole nother can of worms. Because now we talk about needing to hunker down for a little bit, and you need water, and you need food, and you need to know what's going on. Maybe we'll do another specialty video about that one later on. But as a very first step, you know, you panic, the event happens, and you know that you need to get to a safe spot right away, and then you have a little bit of time to buy. Thinking about a nice concrete room like this is a good starting point.
So this might be some people's least favorite one to think about. Maybe it's your favorite for other folks. But this one is security that we're going to talk about next. And security starts as soon as I get out of my vehicle. So one thing I might want to think about is just where do I park my vehicle to begin with? So thinking about parking it in an area that's well lit and where there's a lot of travel around it. And then as soon as I get out, before going into the event, I'm going to think about where is my wallet? What kind of pocket is it in? Because if my wallet's in a really kind of loose pocket that's kind of in a coat hanging off to the side, something like that, it's really easy. There's professional pickpockets in events. Last year when we were here, one of our friends had their MacBook Pro stolen from right behind their booth. That was a good thief. The person who took that knew what they were doing. So thinking about my wallet down there, you know, I don't want to have that in a loose pocket where someone can snag it. Making sure it's in a tighter pocket where if it's sliding and moving, I'm gonna feel it coming out. One more thing that I like, I carry this with me everywhere. It's a little Phoenix tactical flashlight, and it's 900 lumens at high. So if I flash this in somebody's eyes, they're instantly blinded. They're seeing little dots. So particularly if you don't train in martial arts, I think this is one of the best self-defense tools you can have. It's super useful if I come out and I drop something under my car. Or maybe you're coming out and you're in a dark parking lot, just to be able to scan the back seat of your car really quick to make sure that nobody's in there, to be able to take a quick look underneath. If you hear a noise off in the corner there, to be able to shine. Putting a light on somebody that's up to no good is gonna catch them off guard and hopefully prevent attack to begin with. But as I said, if I shine this in your eyes, you're instantly blind. So that's a great self-defense tool as well. It's completely legal to carry one of these, and it has a lot of other uses. So I'm gonna make sure I've got my little flashlight in my pocket there. And from where it is just clipped there, it's really easy to grab and put into use if I needed this for a self-defense scenario. Let's head inside and see how else we can keep ourselves safe. So here's 2 safety features right here, 2 in 1. So knowing where some fire extinguishers are, super helpful, especially seeing straw and hay around me. But the other one here that I want to think about, I like these big concrete pillars. So if you end up in a violent scenario with either an active shooter or even, let's say, violence breaks out for some reason and there's people here with bad intentions, these things here will stop bullets. A lot of other things in an event like this won't. So to be able to duck in beside some of these in a spot where you still have a bit of a view to look around is great. It's also a place that I can dodge around things. And that fire extinguisher right there, that's a weapon if you need it to be one. So many things to think about. You could grab that fire extinguisher and spray it at a crowd coming out. And if you don't know martial arts, it's probably one of the best things you could do in a scenario. So just mapping these little things, just as you're walking around thinking about, cool, where would I go? What would protect me from a bullet? What could I use as a weapon? These are all little things you could be thinking about all the time.